Hello, and welcome back to The Culture Shift with Jocelyn Jovan, our podcast aimed at inspiring the leaders of tomorrow, brought to you by Black Enterprise. Here we like to review the success stories of today's tastemakers to encourage those who dare to dream big. Today, we're gaining super insight from a literal frontrunner in Jamaica's current golden era of sprinting. Our guest is regarded as one of the greatest track and field athletes of all time, a record breaker, and true mommy rocket. Join me in welcoming the Olympic gold medalist, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. How are you?
I'm amazing, feeling better now that I'm speaking with you. I know we have the World Athletics Championship coming up in August. So how are you mentally, physically, and spiritually preparing for the big day?
Okay, so this year I've always said that, no 2 years are ever the same. You plan and you work and you just hope that everything falls into place. And I think for the last year I had so much fun, in Eugene and just being able to consistently run 10-6. And I really want to build on that. However, I had a hiccup or a little disappointment in Kenya to open my season. That didn't happen. And I was left disappointed with, I was trying to go back to the drawing board and making sure that everything was good with my knee, because I knew that coming out, in the outdoor season, it's going to require a lot more of me, not just, mentally, but physically as well. And I wanted to be in that good space. But I think so far now training has been going great. I think I'm in a much better place. I've been able to tweak some things and really revisit some things that I needed to work on and really nail down. And I think it has been going good. And spiritually, I really just trust that God will always work things out for his good. And I always have to trust that. And you do the work and you just get on the track and you prepare, you have a good team. Coaches are prepared, we're prepared, so we just get on the track, and hopefully this, well, not hopefully, I know that this year is going to be amazing.
Yes. We all know, and everyone gets excited. Everyone gets excited when it's a new race. You're also among this golden era for Jamaican sprinters. And how does it feel? How does it feel being a hometown hero to your country?
It definitely feels good. I think for me, especially coming from, Waterhouse, a young girl who didn't, know where she would end up in the future, but to be able to be one of the, icons of our country is really phenomenal. And being able to give inspiration to other, young girls who are coming from similar situation that I was, or even now that's being able to relate to where I'm at on my journey, whether it's on motherhood, whether it's on age, whether it's on a lot of things. So being able to drive that, here in my hometown, being able to say that I'm homegrown, being able to say that, a lot of who I am is because of the people of Jamaica and how much they have poured into me, and their support who's always been so constant. And again, being able to be amongst the best. I think that helps us to elevate who we are as a country and as women when we step on the line, to know that we have such a rich history when it comes to track and field. And you always want to make sure that we show up, and I show up in your being able to put our country first, because we understand what limited resources, what that is. And showing other athletes here in Jamaica that it's possible to stay home, it's possible to have good coaches here in Jamaica, and being able to get on the world stage and really dominate. So for me, it's important to always drive that message, home, that, we can work with what we have. And it's always why we say we're little but we're talawa, it's not about the size, but the punch. So we're able to really make a statement globally, and we're really appreciative of all that, we've been able to accomplish.
Yeah, I mean, and you've been doing this a long time, but can you think back to when you first started in track and field? Did you have your sights set like, I'm going to be an Olympic gold medalist?
If I'm being honest, I would say no, that was never really the plan or the goal, I do say though that my mom always thought that, track and field was going to be my way out. It was always going to be the stepping stone to the next thing. And for me, I was just riding the wave, kind of just going with the flow. I really wasn't sure what I really wanted to do at that point. Again, I speak to where I'm from, where yes, you had girls or young women who made it out, but not a lot. So it's not a huge percentage. So I didn't have a lot of person that I could look to say, okay, they did this or they did that, so I need to follow that. So I kind of was like, okay, I'm gonna do my best, and wherever that lands, then I'm gonna be appreciative of it. But I always had a support, I really always had that support in community, not just on my street where I live, but at church, at school. Always had that support of persons who thought I was gonna be very good at track. They were like, oh yeah, at school I was almost like a little superstar in my own little right, So it was good. And looking back to that vision and seeing where I'm at, I never really saw, all of that. Eventually, when I got to college, my first year of college, and having the experience of going to my first world championship, I was able to be exposed to so many different raw emotions of athletes just really showing up and dominating, or athletes who didn't, hit the target, and, they were left disappointed with their results or their, different things. And I think that really just started a spark that really just changed my outlook. And I was like, oh, I want to have my piece of that moment, whatever that moment, was. And it was great to be able to come back and really just tap into that, that energy that I harnessed when I was in Osaka. And I came back and I started to work. And even at that point, so crazy, even at that point, I never thought winning an Olympic gold medal, or medal for that fact, was even possible. I was just trying to make the team to the championship. And I think now that I am who I am and where I'm at, I would really love to drive a message that you can't aim low. You always have to aim high. And you never know what's going to happen at the end, And for a lot of us, if you have small dreams, and chances are you're going to get small things, but there's nothing wrong with having big dreams and chasing big things, And that really kind of cemented it for me. So I would say it was really after college, my first year in college, where I really thought, okay, an Olympic gold medal or medal, is in sight.
That makes sense, because it's like you're growing up, you're maturing into a young adulthood, and you're like, you know what? Yeah, I think I would do this. I think I'm gonna take this real serious.
For sure.
So when you're going into races, what's your mindset? Are you looking to beat your previous time, or do you just focus on beating whoever you're running against?
Well, to be honest, whenever I show up at the line, I show up to win. That's always the goal. But I think for winning is a series of things that you have to do to get to that point. And I think that's really what I'm focused on, is executing my best race, because it makes no sense you work and you train and you do all the things that are necessary to compete, but then you don't execute that plan. And I think that's really important for me, where I stand at the line and I know the work has already been done, because I'm a firm believer in making sure that every time I step at the line, it's never going to be about my work. I'm not going to lose because of my work, because I really worked and I'm passionate about what I do. I give 100% all the time, because I believe in consistency, and I believe that with consistency, you can deliver on those big moments. So when I get to the line, it's always focus on the execution. How do I execute this first 30? How do I exit the block? How do I get from 30 to 60? How do I maintain what I've been able to accomplish in the first 60 meters of the race? So it's really just being strategic in what I want to do in the race to achieve the goal. And I know that for me, if I'm able to execute a good race, then it's going to be a fast time. It's going to be a fast time. And I know that if I go to the line and I'm thinking fast time, then it's going to, you're going to get anxious, or you're really timid. And I don't want that, because for me, the 7 other lanes that are there, they want it just as much as I want it. So I can't make it easy for anybody else by doing their job. My job is to focus on my lane, run my own race the best way I can, and just compete hard.
Guys, I mean, based on what you just said, it sounds like you just focus to stay in your own lane mentally. So as it relates to all the conversations, because everyone's very invested when you're on the field, like everyone is like locked in, because you're at the top. And so do you pay attention at all to the conversations around beating the 1988 world record? Because you're very close. Or is it like, I don't have time to focus on that because I'm just focused on being the best, and that's how I keep performing so well?
So for me, I would say, you hear the conversation, you're not going to ignore it, but then you know what to feed on, kind of what to feed on. And for me, being able, 10-6 has always been the goal for me. When I was, a younger athlete, I really wanted to run 10-6. That was always like, oh, I need to run 10-6. That was a big dream. And then I was able to hit 10-6. And I'm like, okay, then based on all those 10-6 that I've ran and how I felt and things that I've been able to do in training, the times that I've been in training, I definitely think like 10-5 is possible. And if I think 10-5 is possible, then it means that I think 10-4 is possible. So for me, I'm always work with that in mind, that I can't limit the goals that I have for myself, and I can't limit my dreams, because if I believe something, then I'm going to work for it and towards it. So, but it doesn't consume me as a difference. So I don't go to practice just thinking solely on that. Again, it goes back to the moment I step on the line. I've already ran the race in my head 1,000 times. So when I get to practice, it's about working. It's being, strategic in how I work and making sure that I'm trying to, I would say, improve on the small things, because it's not so much the big things for me, because I'm a seasoned athlete. So I have experience. So it's the small things. It's making sure that I'm focusing on the small things, how I can tweak them to squeeze out a little bit more success in my races or my technique or things like that. So if I'm going to say, I would say it's something that you're aware of, and you make sure that it doesn't consume you, but it helps you to work towards it, to make sure that you get to practice. You're putting in everything 100% every day. You can't slack, no slip, and you never take anything for granted.
Definitely. And, we're seeing more fans locked into the women's races. Even here in the States, there's a shift where people are giving more support to the WNBA and women's college basketball. As someone who's been a professional athlete for some time, are you seeing the shift when it comes to inclusion for women in professional sports?
Yeah, I'm definitely seeing the shift, and I think it's awesome to see and to be able to witness and still be in the arena to witness it, because it's one thing to be on the sideline, but another thing to actually be on the court or on the field. You live it, and you've always seen it. And I've been able to be competing since 2007 to now, and you subtly see the changes, and then moving from that to the big changes. And for me, I'm hoping that more women continue to use their platform to advocate for younger selves, because it's not so much about us, but it's also for those who are coming. And the more they see, the more they will emulate, and the more they'll hear the conversation, and they want to add their piece to the conversation, because their experiences will be different than ours. And we want to make sure that we're already giving them the blueprint to say, okay, we started this, you can continue. And then after you continue, then your daughters will continue, and it's something that has to continue. Because for me, it's not so much inclusion for me. Yeah, it's okay to include us, but I want us to have the same space. I want us to occupy the same space. I want us to have the same equality, the same access. I want persons, or especially organizations, sponsors, and everybody to advocate more for us to be equal, so I don't want us to ever feel like, oh, it's filling a slot, or it's ticking a mark or marking a box to say, okay, we included you. It's not enough to just include us, but it's also to help to give us that space to thrive and to hear us and to act. Because it's one thing to talk, but it's another thing to have action, and I believe in action, because that's where it's important. We've always heard, or we hear, oh, we're gonna do this or we're gonna do that. Can I see it? I want to see it, because that's how it gets measured. If you can't measure it, then how are we gonna say it's not enough to just talk? We want to measure that. Okay, this year we're able to have 80% capacity, or next year we got 100%. Oh, this year we had all women sport participating in this panel, something. So we want to be able to measure that inclusiveness.
I mean, you've broken so many world records. I can't name all of them, but among them, you were wait. Yes, in 2019, you were the first mother in 24 years to claim a global title, and you are coined the Mommy Rocket, and you've also even started a company around it. The Mommy Rocket movement is in full force. Okay, how has it been handling motherhood and your career and businesses?
Okay, well, when my son was younger, I would definitely say it was a lot easier because it's a baby. But as he gets older, you have to really balance, and you have to be intentional about what you pour your energy into and how available you are in each moment, and celebrating those moments individually, and also collectively. Because I think for me, motherhood is the primary focus for me. Everything comes after, because it's so important for me to win at home, and on the days that I don't win, then I'm coming second and third. I'm still making the podium, so that's good. And you have to, just make sure that you take care of yourself, or you don't beat yourself up, because it can get challenging where things are not like, for instance, I miss sometimes a lot of activities because I have practice or things like that. And it's so hard to manage everything, but it's about balance and finding that balance and being able to be in each moment 100% when you're in that moment. So if I'm at home attending to my child. Yes, I try to get work done when I have space or time, and I make that time to get the work done, but I also make time for my child. And I think running a business like I'm doing now with Shelly Beauty has been crazy, because what I find out is, like, I love to micromanage, I want to be involved in anything, with everything. And it's hard, but at the same time, it's rewarding because it's something that I'm passionate about, and I really want to see it unfold. And I think as an athlete, there are so many things that you learn, that you bring across to your business. It's a communication, being able to communicate the goals that I have for my business and how I want to see it unfold at the end of the day, because we're almost up to launch day, and I'm so excited about it because I put a lot of effort into it, just like I did my training. And then when it comes to my foundation, it's the passion. That's how I started. That's how the Mommy Rocket became the Mommy Rocket, or the Pocket Rocket became the Mommy Rocket. Because there's one lady who believed that I could do something extraordinary. And she tapped into that, and she made sure she provided for my tuition, my books, my uniforms, and lunch. And I had so many support around that. So that's why I formed the Pocket Rocket Foundation, and being able to invest in student athletes and give them an opportunity to thrive and to see themselves as more, and creating avenues for them to succeed is definitely rewarding for me each day. So I think for me, motherhood, career, and my foundation is things that I love. So it's almost like, I'm not going to say it's easy, and I'm not going to say, oh, because I love it, it's not like work. It's still work. It's hard work. But it's me being intentional about them, being dedicated to it, and really making the time to make sure that these things are getting my attention and my full attention. And there are days when I can't, and I really just plug myself out and take some self-care where I just relax, because if I can't show up as my best self, then I'm no good to anybody.
Absolutely. First of all, you're dropping a lot of jewels here. People are gonna have to pick them up. You also, first of all, congratulations. You just received the 2023 Lawrence World Sportswoman of the Year Award. That's amazing.
Thank you.
What did that moment tell you about all the work you've put into get you where you are today?
Honestly, it's everything. I think it's the total work. It's a body of work, that really just became a moment. So I dreamed all my life. I've been nominated 6 times. I've been nominated. I was nominated 6 times, and I've never won it. And then, but that didn't stop my work. It didn't stop the waking up at 5 a.m. and being consistent with my work and being passionate and being driven and wanting to do better than I did the year before. And that never stopped. And I think being able to be recognized for that body of work has been remarkable. And it just shows that, you just have to honor your moments as they come and celebrate those moments. And that definitely was my moment, where I was able to stand on that podium and receive this award, not just as an athlete, but as a mom, as someone who has grown throughout the sport. I've evolved. Been able to pivot many times. Being able to stand on that podium and become the Laureate Sportswoman of the Year is incredible. And then we had such a talented, group of ladies who were also nominated as well. And it just speaks to just the work that we've been able to do. And for me, being selected as, the Sportswoman of the Year just shows how I would say tough and it is when women, show up and they compete and they dominate their respective sport. And for you to be able to stand on the podium and walk away as a sportswoman, it tells you that if you're going to compete, you have to compete fiercely, because other ladies are showing up and, really putting in the work. And I'm just glad that I was able to do it, not just for me and my family, but also Jamaica again, because it's so important to always represent where you're from, because growing up, you hear people talk about being from a third world country, or, not having the resources or seeking sponsorship, but just showing girls that we can do so much more if we really just believe in who we are and just at the same time embrace the good things about this country, and what it has to offer.
There's plenty of good things about Jamaica. I'm long overdue for a return, but I love Jamaicans and I love Jamaica.
Good.
So as we're preparing for your you got a lot of big races coming up, but the next one, I would like to know, what is your go-to song when preparing for a race or workout session?
Oh, my go-to song when I'm preparing for work or training. So I do have a playlist. I really kind of get into that, gospel first, just to give all the gratefulness and the praises to the Most High before I get on the track. Then I definitely have to have some turn up. So I really love Burna Boy. So right now, I like Burna Boy right now. Right now, I'm listening to Sitting on Top of the World, because that's like,
Yes.
that's just a jam for me right now. So it really gets that energy, because, that's who we are. We're sitting in the top of the world and it's our world. And I think we really have to go out and claim it. So I'm listening to a little Burna Boy. I do listen to Maverick City as well. And Chris Brown. I really like Chris Brown. I like Chris Brown. And then, of course, I'm listening to Jamaican artists as well.
Of course.
We're going to go with Valiant. I listen to some Valiant. So, yeah, different songs depending on how I'm feeling each day.
Oh, you got it all covered, from the gospel to the turn up. That's how you out here dominating these fields.
Well, that energy. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Shelly-Ann. You really are inspiration to girls, to women, to mothers, to Jamaicans, to the Black community. You represent so many different facets, and just speaking with you right now, I can see how rooted you are, and just you have a leveled mind on who you are, what you want to represent, and how to go about it. And that's just phenomenal. So thank you for being you, and thank you for taking time to speak with me today. And good luck for the upcoming World Championships.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that.